We're back again on behalf of Brandeis International Business School. We're here with Professor Andy Molinsky, who's an expert in organizational behavior and international management. You recently had you have great blog posts on LinkedIn, lots of great advice for people to tune into if they're looking for some weekly tips or scenarios to really refine how they're adapting to various cultures. And one of them was about managers making some mistakes when delivering bad news.
Yeah.
And it had tons of comments and over 35,000 views on this one. Obviously a really hot topic.
Yeah.
What are some of those mistakes that people make?
So let me just quickly, so thank you, and I love talking about this because this is actually something I studied for many, many years. I don't know if you know, but I followed police officers in the cop car with a bulletproof vest as they were evicting people from homes.
Oh my goodness.
With my colleague Joshua Margolis from Harvard Business School. We also studied managers and executives. We studied doctors who had to perform painful procedures on children and deliver bad news, all these situations. So what we found is that there are 5 real tripwires, sort of dysfunctional conversations people can get into.
Yeah.
One of them is bargaining. In other words, one of the managers that we spoke with said you can't get into the but why conversation. In other words, you start to deliver the bad news and they say, but why? But why? And you can't.
And if you give in to that.
Right. And your human self probably wants to, right? So that's one real tripwire. Another one is cushioning. And, this is where you're such a people pleaser that you just don't want to deliver the bad news. And you sort of like,
upon layers.
Right, and you sort of indirectly say it. This is sort of the classic case of breaking up with someone and you leave and
Are
they don't.
breaking up with
They
me?
don't really realize. There's also unloading where, it's obviously very hard for the person receiving the news, but what our work says is it's also hard on the person delivering the news, right?
They might not be making this decision, just delivering it.
Exactly, and they're living with it. And then when you say it, you just kind of like, it's like a hot potato. Like,
because of this and
you
this
have
and this
it,
and
you
this.
have it, right?
Yeah.
And so
that's tough.
That's really tough. Another one is arguing. Sometimes you're in a situation where if you're laying someone off, for instance, and the other person is legitimately angry and they get into an argument with you and you have to somehow find a way to avoid the argument because that's not going to be functional for achieving your purposes, really.
Right.
And then the final one is what we call mechanizing. It's like going robotic. It's like dissociating in a sense.
Here's the news.
Well, I'll tell you one quick story. We were interviewing an HR manager from a very large company, and he told us this incredible story. And it was about a very senior manager that he was trying to coach about how to do layoffs. And the very senior manager said, "No problem, I got it. I don't need any coaching." Well, that HR manager accompanied the senior manager into a situation. The senior manager had to lay off one of his longtime workers. This is like someone he, had barbecues with.
Wow.
Really knew.
Personal relationship.
Real personal relationship. He walks into the room. The person is right there. That person's eyes start to look right in the eyes of the person delivering the news. He knows that they know. And the senior manager, who was so confident, just freezes.
Shut down.
Completely shuts down. He had in his hands a script that the HR manager had given him. And you're not supposed to literally read the script, but it's sort of some guidelines.
But did he
started to shiver and look at it and read from it.
Wow.
And that's mechanizing where you just, it becomes overwhelming. So the point here is that these are hard situations. And at least by understanding the tripwires, you can have some awareness and hopefully find a way to do it effectively, but also with dignity.
Right, and it sounds like the common theme in all of this is emotion.
Absolutely.
And it's emotional for both parties. So as a manager, kind of finding where you can make peace with it or deal with it on your own terms. But in that conversation, knowing what your strategy is to just get through the conversation.
And it's
hard.
And it's acting outside your comfort zone. And that's what brought me to my new book, which is about acting outside your comfort zone, because that work has shown us that is easier said than done. And so that's part of it. This particular blog post was exciting. It's great to connect with people, and so that's what it's about.
And obviously sparked a real interest.
That's
we'll
good.
have to see where it takes us in your new book.
Great.